And we back talking sports. I got something good for y'all today, man. Shout out Dreamers Pro and Ticket. I saw them talking about this. I was gonna talk about this yesterday, but I was kind of tired from work, and I found something else to talk about. But is ESPN turning on LeBron? Is we finally seeing it? Now everybody knows that everybody knows that ESPN is a LeBron network. Any way they can, any way, and I mean any way they can prop up LeBron, they will do it. But now it's going to the Sun now. Now they're trying to find any way to prop up his son to validate him being in the league, which you can't. You can't. You can't. Averaging 1 point in the preseason, ain't no hiding that. It's not no hiding that, bro. No matter what you try to do, no matter how much you try to no matter how much you try to promote him over other people. It's real sad, man. Now, we have an article here from ESPN writer Baxter Holmes, senior ESPN writer. This is one of the first articles I've seen on Bronny James that isn't just super, super clutched out. He says, set up for failure. What lies ahead for Bronny James and the Los Angeles Lakers? Now, this is surprising that ESPN allowed this to even come out. That's what I'm surprised about. Anything negative, that a senior ESPN writer has to put out would be allowed. So the fact that this was even allowed is crazy. Now, with that being said, though, the B writer basically says, set up for failure, what lies ahead for Bronny James and the Los Angeles Lakers. The article then goes to say, Rich Paul sitting on the couch inside his spacious glass wall corner office in Beverly Hills. It was a warm mid-September afternoon, and he was surrounded by testaments to his success. Frame magazine profiles, signed memorabilia, a whiteboard with his financial projections, a bar cart with top shelf tequila and champagne. He pointed to a wall. And on the other side of it, Paul told ESPN, was the very spot where just a few months ago, he and Bronny James discussed the decision of whether to stay in college or declare for the NBA draft. Inside that office, Paul said Bronny was signing basketball cards when they began outlining his options. Paul, the CEO of Klutch Sports Group, was blunt. He had canvassed executives from across the NBA, and he told Bronny he was not projected to be a first round pick in the draft in late June. That he was probably a second round pick, if that he could even go undrafted. Paul asked Bronny what he wanted to do. I just want to hear my name called, Bronny told him. Do you care where it's at? Paul asked. No, Bronny replied. Here's the lie. Didn't y'all say that if he wasn't drafted by Phoenix or the Lakers, he would be going to Australia? Now the article is saying that he said Bronny just wanted his name called and he didn't care where it was at. But when the draft was going, before the draft was going on, there was reports or you basically had said if it wasn't Phoenix, it had to be LA or he was going to Australia. So which one is it? Anyways, there had been long chatter about Bronny playing with his father, that LeBron James had influenced the decision that ultimately saw the Los Angeles Lakers pick the younger James in the second round of the NBA draft in some way. Nobody pressured Bronny to go pro, Paul said. Bronny had a choice to stay at USC, he had a choice to transfer somewhere else, or he had a choice to go pro. That was Bronny's call, Paul said, and Bronny's alone, and one that publicly and privately drew immediate criticism. I just don't believe that. I don't believe that. Maybe it's true. I don't believe they had no influence on him trying to go pro. No influence. You trying to sit here and tell me y'all had no influence at all. He just said, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Salute, Alex. Since the end of the summer league in late July, during which Bronny averaged 7 points and 32.7 shooting, along with 3.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists in 6 games. He has traveled to Paris to watch his father win his third Olympic gold medal for Team USA. He has worked out with Philadelphia 76ers guard Tyrese Maxey and Cleveland Cavaliers guard Darius Garland. It ain't working. Paul said Rob Pelinka, the Lakers vice president of basketball operations and general manager, has told him that Bronny has been a fixture at the team's practice facility in El Segundo, California. That Bronny is the first one in the gym to work with the team's player development staff, and that he has worked to shake off the rust. He's played only 25 games at USC last season after surviving a sudden cardiac arrest in 2023 July. At Media Day on September 30th, LeBron and Bronny posed for photos together as teammates that sat side by side during the interview in the team's television partner, ribbing each other about a play the previous week at practice where LeBron drove baseline and scored on his son. Sitting in the front row of reporters, Bronny twice referenced the criticism about his decision to go pro. He said he wanted to tune out all the noise and tune out all the people that don't think I should be here. Well, yeah, tune me out. Definitely tune me out because I don't think you should be there at all. And that he wanted to turn all the criticism and backlash into fuel. It's not working. During the 118-114 preseason loss Sunday night against the Phoenix Sun, Bronny and LeBron made history when they became the first father-son duo to share the court in the NBA game. In 16 minutes, LeBron scored 19 points on 8 of 12 shooting. Bronny, who was celebrating his 20th birthday, missed his only shot attempt, a three-pointer, while committing 4 turnovers in 13-25 action. Back in his office, Paul defended Bronny's time again. Bronny is serious, Paul said. This isn't an effing game for him. He wants to play in the NBA and he wants to play well within his role. Well, that's just not happening because he sucks. Others around the NBA, even those who praise Bronny as a person and boast about the numerous intangible he possesses, they said wanting a player, remain skeptical. The expectations for Bronny by the fan base and by LeBron and Rich Paul are not commensurate with the reality of his game. One Eastern Conference executive said, if they had any real idea of how far away Bronny is, they would just not have done this. But the narrative has only deepened. In interviews with nearly 24 front office executive coaches and scouts across the league, those who for years have tracked Bronny's journey to the NBA, a two-part consensus has emerged that Bronny James, the most famous second-round pick in league history, not only isn't ready for the NBA, but was also drafted by the one team that presents the most challenging dynamic for him to succeed. That the daily cacophony of noise surrounding him on the Lakers will be both deafening and defeating, and that feel-good storyline of Bronny James playing alongside his father will soon give way to the reality of Bronny James, the NBA player. You're set up for failure. One Eastern Conference scout who has evaluated Bronny for years said, "It's like, what's the expectation here?" From the sideline, a veteran NBA scout watched Bronny move across Wintrust area in Chicago. It was May 14th, the start of the NBA Combine, and six television cameras trailed his every move. "I was absolutely shocked," the scout said. The scout knew then the 19-year-old's lineage command global attention and intense intrigue. He had watched Bronny play for Sierra Canyon School in Los Angeles. He had watched him play at the 2023 Nike Hoop Summit in Portland, Oregon. He had watched him play during the freshman season at USC, where Bronny averaged 4.8 points on 36.6 shooting from the field and 26.7 shooting from three, plus 2.8 rebounds and 2.1 assists. But more than that, he said, Bronny is LeBron's son. And if he is anything remotely close to the once in a generation player that his father is, then Bronny at very least warranted a look. "I wouldn't be doing my job as the evaluator if I didn't write a report," he said. As this scout watched Bronny, he began to take notes. Bronny was humble, he noted, appeared to be coachable, played unselfishly, that he had a reputation of having a strong work ethic and a high basketball IQ, that he was well built physically and a good athlete. Okay. If noted, Bronny played hard, played the right way, that he was a good teammate, that he cared and had good credit character, that he loved the game. What in the report didn't say was that Bronny was an NBA prospect. At best, he was a secondary one, someone you can have on your radar, but not a priority. The scout letter said, for the ideal intangibles that Bronny possessed, he was lacking in talent. Was Bronny an NBA player? Not right now, the scout said, echoing multiple other front office executives and scouts. Will Bronny ever be an NBA player? The scout wasn't sure, nor were those same league sources. What complicates the matter further was Bronny's medical history. He had lingering effects from surgery to address his congenial heart defect, he'd said, affecting an already abbreviated freshman season. That he had come back to play that fall was impressive, but it also meant the evaluation by NBA officials was incomplete. The next day in Chicago, Bronny sat at a table in the corner of the arena for a news conference. He said he wanted to emulate Boston's Derek White and Drew Holiday and Sacramento's Davion Mitchell, three defensive focused guards. Talent evaluators noted the comparisons, saying they represented realism from the young guard. "He knows who he is," one scout said. "He knows what he can do." 9 minutes into the 20-minute session, the most tantalizing storyline was broached. How would Bronny feel about playing alongside his father? This is a long ass article. Long ass article. Long. So we're gonna stop right there for the moment. Basically, the NBA scouts said that he wasn't an NBA prospect. They were been saying this, bro. They had been said this, bro. You heard them saying he's a good kid, he's a good teammate, he's this, he's that. What they did not report on is his game, because he's not an NBA player. They're even saying he's not NBA, he wasn't NBA ready. Even saying that, bro. So It's not like we hating if it's NBA scouts literally saying the same thing, bro. So how could we be hating? How could I be hating if I say that the boy is not good at all? He's trash. He's not an NBA player. If the scouts and the coaches and everybody saying the same thing, and they were saying this way before the draft. Let's continue. The context centered on his father's 2022 comments to The Athletic. My last year will be played with my son. LeBron walked that remark back in 2023, telling ESPN he wanted to share the court with his son, either in the same uniform or a matchup against him. Either way, LeBron had made, he ain't say that, bro. Nah, I ain't want to say he said that. He wanted him to play with him. LeBron had made his desires clear. Bronny distanced himself from that idea. My dream has always been to put my name out, make a name for myself, and of course, get to the NBA, which is everyone's end goal that it is here. Bronny said, I never thought about just playing with my dad, but of course he's brought it up a couple times. He don't even really want to play with him, to be honest, bro. Reporters laugh. Bronny added later, I just want to have people know my name is Bronny James and not being identified as just LeBron James' son. His comments carried an unmistakable but impossible aim to forge a path outside of the shadow of his father. During a scrimmage the next day, LeBron sat in the second row at center court wearing a black hoodie next to his wife and Bronny's mother, Savannah, to watch Bronny play in the scrimmage. Bronny played well, scoring 13 points on 4 of 10 shooting. That's 40% shooting. That's not good. In 23 minutes, he was named player of the game, wearing a headset, did a post-game interview, and the ESPN broadcast while his mom recorded the moment on her phone. LeBron looked on with pride, smiling from ear to ear. I don't know if he's smiling now. Definitely don't know if he's smiling now. Yes, sir. I know. I'm about to do a reaction to it, Alex. I'm about to do a reaction to it. Go Tigers. 2 weeks later, on May 29th, Paul told ESPN that Bronny would be keeping his name in the NBA draft, which was a big mistake, bro. That was a big mistake, bro. Big mistake. I just can't sit here and think that they didn't coerce him into going to the league because of his dad wanting him to play with him before he retires. He should have stayed in school. One Western Conference executive said, no doubt about it. Same thing I said. In a normal world, he would have been a really good 4-year college player. Something I said. One Eastern Conference scout said, for the whole thing to have even made it this far is surreal. Another Western Conference executive said, analytically, if you had the numbers on a page and had no name attached to it, he doesn't project in any way, shape, or form to be an NBA player. His measurables don't project as an NBA player. There's literally nothing about him on paper, if no name is attached to it, that makes this make sense. This is an executive saying that. A Western Conference executive saying that. Other executives and scouts say they didn't think Bronny was good enough to be drafted, even late in the second round, but understood the allure that he was LeBron James' son, carry enormous weight, but not necessarily in a bad way. Another Eastern Conference executive said, it's not just the name, it's not just that he's LeBron James' son, it's that he was raised by LeBron James. Executive said, if anybody takes a gamble on LeBron James, they're getting the most incubated player ever. He's not going to embarrass your franchise ever, the executive added. Yes, he is. He's already embarrassing it. He's going to work his effing ass off because what LeBron James will never tolerate is any intel that his kid isn't a hard worker. He can be a hard worker all he wants to. He does not have the talent, the fundamentals, or does not know how to play NBA basketball. LeBron's son is an identity unto itself. one from which escape and another into which to lean. Because of Bronny's lineage, the conversation around his career would be discussed solely as a binary, another Eastern Conference executive said. On one side of it, Bronny would reach the league only because he was LeBron's son, or he wouldn't because he wasn't good enough, which would mean he was a bust and fell short of his father's greatness. That's unfair to a kid who's otherwise a pretty good basketball player. This executive is lying, but you know what I'm saying? It's split. Everybody got their opinion. One executive said that needed to be room for a middle ground, he said, a path in which he spent years in the G League, potentially developing into an NBA reserve player, a defensive specialist. Maybe he can play for a few teams. Maybe he played for a few years. Maybe that's all his NBA career would be. And that's totally fine. They saying he could be a journeyman. That's how bad this boy is. Some people say he shouldn't even be on the court. He's nothing about him on paper without his name says NBA player. Even that path, other talent evaluators said wouldn't be easy. There are great guys in the G League, but they do not want to be in the G League. One Western Conference scout said they want to be in the NBA, and some are whom are in the mid to late 20s. All of them are trying to put food on their table for their families, and whatever it takes, they're going to do. I think that his last name will be thrown out the window. It definitely will be. And then, you know what I'm saying? It goes on to say much more about him. You know what I'm saying? USC and everything. Then it talks about my Warriors maybe wanting to draft him. It says Bronny wasn't one of the prospects invited to the green room on either day. In the first year, the NBA draft was split over 2 days instead. Bronny's family and close friends watched the second round from a private dinner party in New York. Paul joined them, as did LeBron's mother, Gloria, as the Lakers' 55th pick neared. ESPN analyst Bob Myers, the former general manager of the Golden State Warriors, reported during the broadcast that Paul had been calling teams and telling them not to select Bronny. When Paul just said that the dude said he don't care where he's drafted. See how they just lied? If they did, he would play in Australia instead. It was a naked and deaf attempt to steer Bronny to the Lakers. Inside the Lakers training facility, a number of executives and Pelinka has gathered in the conference room. A day earlier, the team had drafted Tennessee swingman Dalton Connect with the first round pick, and there was little suspense inside the war room whom the team would be taking at number 55, the Lakers insider said. When the moment arrived, Lakers executives in the room stood and applauded. Newly hired coach JJ Rhetoric, shout out to Tiki, and Pelinka hugged and shook hands. Back in New York, a full suited Bronny sat on the couch facing a flat screen television, airing the draft. Paul sat next to him. Bronny looked at the screen and Mark Tatum, the NBA's deputy commissioner, announced his name. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. His brother Bryce said as he recorded the scene. Surrounded by family and friends, Savannah handed Bronny a Lakers hat and wiped a tear from her eyes. How? You knew this shit was finna happen. Bronny placed it on his head as highlights from the time at USC. What highlights? This nigga ain't had no highlights, man. In front of him, he looked down at his hand, took a deep breath, and closed his eyes. LeBron stood behind him, beaming. When Bronny was about 5 or 6, LeBron had watched him play in the youth league in Akron, Ohio. He remembered Bronny grabbing a rebound, diving in the length of the court, through the lane, through a couple kids, laying it in and trotting down the backcourt. LeBron turned to Savannah. He's special, he told her. What? He's 5 years old. What are you talking about? He recalled, he responded, I've seen this before. He said, I know, I've seen this before. On the night Bronny was drafted, LeBron brought the story back up to Savannah. He said during an appearance with the team's broadcast partner, Spectrum Sports Net, she remembered it. The biggest moment in sports happened with the Lakers, Pelinka said afterwards to reporters. That's how we're built, and we're excited to see the story unfold. And a bunch of other stuff, you know what I'm saying, talking about JJ Redick and everything. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of other stuff. But basically the article is basically saying that the kid, he is basically confirming what everybody else is seeing. He's not an NBA prospect. You got the executive, the coaches, and everybody else saying the same shit, bro. Everybody's saying the same shit, bro. So is it hate now? Are the Western Conference executives hating and the coaches and shit, they hating too? I just need to know, are they hating? Because I just read a lot of that article just so y'all can really see that, bro, this is not hate. This is assessing what we are seeing on the basketball court, bro. Everybody can't be hating if they saying the same thing. Set up for failure. What lies ahead for Bronny James and the Los Angeles Lakers? Come on, man. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's nothing about this kid that. Listen to what he said. It said, as the scout watched Bronny, he began to take notes. Bronny was humble, he noted, appeared to be coachable, played unselfishly, that he had the reputation of having a strong work ethic and a high basketball IQ, that he was well built physically and a good athlete. It noted Bronny played hard, played the right way, and he was a good teammate, that he cared and had great character, that he loved the game. What the report didn't say was that Bronny was an NBA prospect. At best, he was a secondary one, someone you have on your radar, not a priority. The scout later said for the ideal intangibles that Bronny possessed, he was lacking in talent. Was Bronny an NBA player? Not right now, the scout said, echoing multiple other front office executives and scouts. Would Bronny ever be an NBA player? The scout was not sure, nor were those same league sources. So this is multiple executives and coaches saying this. They said all that, but they ain't say nothing about him being an NBA prospect. They said he was a good teammate. He played the right way. He was unselfish. He was a good athlete. They ain't say shit about him being an NBA prospect. But we hating when we say some shit like that. When y'all gonna wake up and smell the coffee, bro? Mind you, this is ESPN. This is ESPN, the LeBron Network. Baxter Holmes. Shout out to him for keeping it, for having the balls to write this article and keep it real and report on the real, the truth, not being with kid gloves, bringing his race into it. Oh, hating on the young kid or his age, or man, talk about this man game and how he is not ready for the NBA and shouldn't. How this charade is setting him up for failure, which it is, and they telling the truth. Like, come on, bro. At some point in time, bro, people get tired of niggas lying. And it look like it look like a couple of writers at ESPN is getting tired of being quiet. I read a whole lot of that article just so y'all can understand, bro, that bro, it's not hate. When we evaluating Bronny James, it's not hate. When we saying the boy not good or the boy trash, it's not hate, bro. He's playing trash on the court. Look at what he giving us. If he has a great game, I'll come on here and give him the utmost praise. He dropped 20 on 40, you know what I'm saying, 3 or 4 threes. I give him all the praise if he turn out to be something. But I just don't see it happening. We've been waiting. He was trash in the summer league. He was trash at USC. And now he trash in the preseason. What's going to change? He's very timid. He's not aggressive enough. He can't read the defense to know how to attack it. He can't stay in front of his defender. I mean, he can't stay in front of his man at all. You don't have the IQ to know when to cut, how to break down the defense. None of that yet, bro. The fundamentals not even there yet, which is why he should have stayed in college all 4 years, all of them. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Look at Zach Eden. Zach Eden stayed all 4 years. Look at him now. And he was balling with John Morant. I seen some of the highlights. Look at Zach Eden. He got drafted real high, higher than a lot of people projected. But he was averaging 30 in college though. I don't know what you want to say. You want people to lie. And everybody not gonna lie. Everybody not gonna bend the knee. These men, I'm gonna say it again. As the scout watch Bronny, I'm gonna let y'all hear it again for some of y'all who just came in here or didn't come in here. As the scout watched Bronny, he began to take note. Bronny was humble. He noted, appeared to be coachable, played unselfishly, and he had the reputation. And he had the reputation of having a strong work ethic and a high basketball IQ. That he was well built physically and a good athlete. It noted Bronny played hard, played the right way, and he was a good teammate. That he cared and had great character. That he loved the game. What the report didn't say was that Bronny was an NBA prospect. At best, he was a secondary one, someone you can have on your radar, but not a priority. The scout later said for ideal intangibles that Bronny possessed, he was lacking in talent. Once again, I know y'all heard that. Was Bronny an NBA player? Not right now. So he's saying the same shit we saying, but he's a Western Conference executive who is paid, and literally his job is to scout talent, coaches to scout and develop talent. And they're saying he's not an NBA player yet. Magic Johnson said the same stuff, bro. Like at some point in time, bro, y'all just gotta wake up and smell the coffee, bro. Exactly, KB. Shout out KB. Go subscribe to my boy channel. Y'all hilarious, bro. It's gonna be a long year for y'all. The Warriors about to play, so I'm about to get on up out of here. Shout out to Alex, my boy Alex here, for sending me all the updates and stuff. I really appreciate you. I watched every last one, so I do appreciate it. I'ma holla at y'all, man. I'm out. Peace.